Hi, my name is Sidnei da Silva and I'm participating on the Google Summer of Code program as a student. My mentor is Mr. Leonard and my mentoring organization is the Plum Foundation. And this is my first video status report for the Google Summer of Code program. My Summer of Code project goes by the title of Improved Out-of-the-Box WebDAV Experience, and its first phase in the project is extremely important to reach that goal. More on that in a second. But first, a little bit of background. What is Plum? Plum is a really powerful and agile content management system. It is based on a series of technologies on top of the SoC application server, which is itself written in the Python programming language. And what is SoC? SoC, it's the Z Object Publishing Environment. I'm not sure why Z of all letters was chosen. It's the last letter of the alphabet. Oh well, maybe they felt sad because of that and gave Mr. Z a chance. But anyway, the idea is that you deal with objects, which are persisted in the ZODB, which stands for the Z Object Database, and they are persisted in a hierarchical fashion. I won't go into much detail there. So, the idea is you have objects and they are published through several different channels. Out of the box, SoC ships with a couple different publishing channels that work with little to no configuration. There are channels for HTTP, WebDAV, FTP, and XML RPC. You can access pretty much any standard SoC object through any of those channels. My personal interest is in accessing and manipulating SoC and especially Plum objects through WebDAV and having that work with minimal configuration. Historically, SoC's WebDAV implementation has worked just fine, even though very few people use it. However, as it started getting old, no one was very interested in maintaining it, so things started to fall apart. The most notable issue was that the Windows Web Folders implementation stopped working with SoC after someone that had problems with it decided that it was easier to just rip out any support for Windows Web Folders than to actually find a solution to the problem. Thus, my first Summer of Code task was born, making the Windows Web Folders work with SoC again, which, as a side effect, will allow us to use the Windows Web Folders with Plum. A good chunk of the job had already been done by a good soul with the handle Patrick D. If you're looking at this report, Patrick, thank you a lot. Patrick did a great job looking for a solution to the problem and going back and forth discussing the best way to implement it with the SoC developers, and eventually submitting a patch nearly 1 year ago for this issue, which is now almost 35 months old as of today. The whole history of this issue can be found on the SoC Collector issue 1441. The issue title might give you an idea of how much some SoC developers care about Windows support. It is really sad to see comments like Sillyborg headers stamped MS Office. That's a strong anti-Microsoft attitude and doesn't benefit anyone. My task consisted of researching a little bit more on the subject, polishing Patrick's patch just a little bit, and writing some unit tests for it. Patrick came to the conclusion that the lack of an MS alter via DAV header in the WebDAV options response was what prevented Microsoft web folders from properly connecting to SoC. However, Microsoft issued an update in January 2005 and a second update in May 2007 to the web folders implementation. The latest update adds support to WebDAV connections over SSL by using the HTTPS URL scheme. With those updates, they also removed the requirement for the MS order via DAV header, but now require the presence of a header named public, which lists the WebDAV methods that are available globally across all resources in the server. Now I'm going to demonstrate the issue of how Microsoft Web Folders fails to connect to SoC, and after enabling the new feature through SoC's configuration file, how it is then able to successfully connect to SoC. So I'm starting SoC. I'm now going to connect through web folders, opening through Internet Explorer. Type in the URL and click on the checkbox Open as Web Folder. Okay, so it failed to connect to SoC. Now I'm going back, stop SoC, change the configuration file to enable the Enable MS public header. Okay, now start SoC again and try to connect. Type the URL, check the checkbox. Okay, and now it asks for the username and password. Okay, now I'm connected to SoC. I can create a new folder. Let's type a name, WebDAV test. Okay, open the folder. Now to drag a file in. Copy. Okay, now I can open SoC through the web browser. Alright, there's my folder, and there's a new file. Those changes are now available in SoC Subversion trunk. I would like everyone that is interested in having a properly working WebDAV in Plum and SoC to make suggestions and requests on the Plum Improvement Proposal 187, which tracks the status and plans for this Google Summer of Code work. I would like to thank Google for allowing me to work on this project, also my mentor Leonard, and the great Alexander Levy for the motivation and coming up with some great ideas. Thank you everyone, and stay tuned for the next Stardust report.